I want to talk about imposter syndrome in book coaching and how it comes out and how pervasive it is. I have been amazed in my time running Author Accelerator and coaching coaches how much imposter syndrome comes up in our conversations and how much it matters and how much you have to be aware of it in order to do your best work and in order to help your writers do their best work. It is just pervasive. And in this video, I want to talk about how imposter syndrome shows up in book coaching, or if you're thinking about becoming a book coach, how it shows up in the conversations you might have with yourself before you decide to do it. And then I'm going to do some other videos in the same series on what to do about it. So this is just how it shows up. And the reason that I know imposter syndrome is such a big deal is that I experience it myself all the time. I have been coaching for 12 years. I've had a great deal of success. I've made a lot of money. My clients have made a lot of money. My clients have landed big agents, big book deals. They've landed on bestseller lists. They have proven that I know what I'm doing. I have systems and processes that work, that are proven to work. I know I'm good at it. I can tell when I'm doing the work of coaching that I'm working in my zone of genius. I listen, I ask good questions. My writers and I have amazing relationships. It's just all good, even when it's not good, because the creative process has its ups and downs. But I always feel that I can bring something to the table, that I'm bringing value to the table. So I'm very secure in my skills and in my talents and in my knowledge that I know what I'm doing. And yet I experience imposter syndrome all the time. Just this week, I was working with a potential client. They've actually been working with me for weeks as they've been trying to decide whether they want to hire me. Now, I have a process where I decide if I want to work with someone. I choose my clients. That's one of the reasons why I'm so successful as a book coach. I choose who I want to work with. I know what I'm looking for. I want to work with people who have expertise in some other realm, who are passionate about bringing their project to life, who are coachable. They want to learn. They want to be in collaboration with somebody else. They want this work and they understand how hard this work is. There's a lot of things that I look for. And this particular client I had found all these things in this client, and I thought that he had the opportunity to write a book that was going to really make an impact, and I was excited to work on the project. So I had already picked him, but he needed to pick me. So he was interviewing me. He asked to speak to my current and former clients. I knew he was speaking to other book coaches. He was taking his sweet time to do his due diligence, as he should. Do it, make a good decision. It costs a lot of money to work with me. It's going to take a lot of time. It's a big decision. I want someone to get it right. So I'm just waiting to hear what he's going to decide. And then what happened this week was he came back to me and said, yes, he wanted to work with me. He chose me. And my immediate reaction was, oh no. It was, what if I ruin his project? What if I'm not the right person? What if I don't know what I'm doing? What if I wreck this whole thing? That was the first thing that flashed through my mind. And fortunately, I've been doing this long enough that I recognized it and I named it. And I said, I hear that voice. I know what that voice is, and I'm not going to listen to it. I know I'm going to be able to help this person. So then I was able to bring in the joy and the excitement of this project. And of course, my brain is already spinning. The gears are spinning about how I'm going to help and what research I'm going to do to be prepared for our start and all the other things that, it's the work. I was ready then to dig into the work. But that imposter syndrome comes up so fast and so hard. And the thing that's interesting is that I know it also comes up for my writers. I am amazed at how often my writers exhibit imposter syndrome in different ways. And usually these are people who are experts in their field. They have had a lot of successes in a different realm, but book writing is new to them. And they're sort of freaking out that they don't know this whole universe of publishing. And that makes them nervous. They also tend to get nervous about raising their voice, taking up space, making a claim for this message or this thing that they're teaching or that they believe in or that they want to write or their story. And so they get nervous, and I'm used to helping people through that. I don't think there is a person that I've worked with who hasn't had something along those lines of some kind of imposter syndrome while we're working together. And that it hasn't come out in the process of coaching. It just does. It's just a thing. It's just real. It's just there. I have also seen imposter syndrome bubble up in all of the coaches that I teach at Author Accelerator in our book coach certification program. We have conversations around these ideas, and they come out in different ways. So some of the ways that imposter syndrome comes out is what I just described, that sense of, I don't want to fail my writer. I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to steer them wrong. Other ways that it comes out is maybe I'm not good enough to help them. Maybe I don't know enough to help them. The first time you coach somebody on a topic that you know nothing about is a time imposter syndrome is going to come up for sure. I once coached a Wall Street Journal reporter whose beat was the coal mining industry in the Virginias and that whole area. It's a part of the country I don't know. I've never been to. I know zero about coal mining, ore mining, coal mining, any of it. I knew nothing. And he's writing front page articles on this industry. And I said to him, I don't know anything about coal mining or that region or this industry, but I know how to write a book, and I know how to help you write a book. If you're good with that, I we can do this. And he said, it was great. He said, I know everything there is to know about the coal industry. I don't know anything about how to write a book, so I need you. And that is another sign of a great client is when they know what they don't know. But that imposter syndrome for the coach can come out if you're thinking, I can't coach that person because I don't know their topic. That's a type of imposter syndrome as well. Other ways that imposter syndrome shows up for book coaches is when you start thinking that you need to have a book of your own that did well. Lots of times coaches get kind of antsy, and they think, I need to publish a book and it needs to do well, otherwise I don't have credibility as a coach. That's a way that it will show up. Imposter syndrome also shows up in your behaviors as a book coach. There is all kinds of work to be done around setting boundaries with your clients, not over delivering, not doing more than you promise. That's another place imposter syndrome can show itself. If you're so nervous about, do they think that you're worth it? Do they think that they're getting their money's worth? And that over delivering is that overcompensating for that fear. Imposter syndrome shows up in book coaches a lot around pricing. It is a big conversation that we are always having around pricing, around not undervaluing yourself. It's so easy to set low prices because you think nobody will pay, or I can't promise an agent or a book deal. Nobody can promise that. There is no guarantee for that. So if I can't promise that, maybe I can't charge very much because that's what people really want. And that's how the conversation goes in your head around pricing. Or I will give away my work for free as a marketing tactic. I think that's a way imposter syndrome can show up as well. Or I'll give away my work for free to friends and family. That's a way that it comes up a lot. There are so many ways imposter syndrome can show itself when you're pricing your work and putting packages together. And it takes a lot to combat that, which is what I'm going to talk about in the next video in this series, is about what we can do to combat these types of imposter syndrome that show up in book coaching.